Okay, here in Melton today, and absolutely rapt to be catching up with the recently inducted Hall of Famer, Johnny Caldow. How does that feel, mate?
Yeah, it makes me feel old.
Makes me feel old as well, but we won't go there. Firstly, congratulations. That must have been a great night the other night.
Yeah, it was. It was something that I wasn't expecting, and when you look back at it, I think, gee whiz, that's pretty good.
I was meant to be there. Unfortunately, a couple of issues at home and didn't get there, and I was bitterly disappointed when I saw that, and it'd been kept pretty secret. I believe Reezy may have known about it.
Yeah, and Lauren, they all knew about it, and I just thought Marie was getting something, and we all went on the table. I honestly had no idea.
What does it mean?
Sorry?
What does it mean, like, to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, well, as I said, like, at the time, now you look back and you see who's been there, and all the good horsemen that actually have been inducted. It's actually it's quite an honour, at the time. I'm just pretty happy to be here, but gee whiz, yeah. So when you look back at it, it's pretty good.
Do you I suppose, look at the other people, like you said there before about the people that have been inducted? Are you the sort of person that says, I wonder one day if I'm ever going to be there? Or I think sort of half know the answer, I think, to this, but
yeah, no, I honestly never give it a thought, and the special part about the night was Gavin Lang was inducted. Yeah. He's a legend, so that was great because we were good mates, and I was there till the end with him, so that was actually pretty special.
Yeah. You and I have known each other for a long time. I actually can say that I am your first employee, which is going back a ways. And I was talking to Reezy the other day about it, and I think I wasn't 15, I believe, when I started working for you, which meant that you weren't 18. I don't think you actually had your car licence when we started, and your journey in the industry has been very, very long. I didn't realise it was 13 when you first started.
Yep.
Training on your own.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, and then it was really like 12 to 13, and then I basically took over, and it was really, I have to think, a lot of people around Echuca at the time because they helped me out,
yeah.
and to be fair, I had no idea what I was, just trying to keep things afloat, and then I learnt as I went, and it just naturally came to me, and away I went. But the work ethic early, like, gee whiz, I was working all day, all night, just trying to keep things. I was doing my own shoeing and doing everything, and then just to try and keep things afloat. So it all worked out.
But you're a young bloke, you were still playing footy. I remember you telling me there at one stage you were still going to school, still playing footy, getting out working the horses.
Yep.
You say about your work ethic, but you just had this will to do everything, didn't you?
Well, I did, and I have to thank Dad for that, because he was one who made sure that, yes, I was working and knowing how hard I was working, but he made sure that I had a balance. I still, my mates, I was always catching up with them with the footy, playing footy with them, and then on the weekends, well, obviously I wasn't driving on the weekends, so normally I'd catch up with my mates. So it was. Yeah, I have to thank him a lot because that was the balance I needed, obviously, at the time. You can work hard, but you can't keep going forever. And so that was good.
You were thrust into it, and we won't dwell on it for too long, but unfortunately with the passing of your brother in a tragic car accident. But the side effect of that was as well, that was Jack was also hurt in that accident, as well as a lot of people. So you had to grow up very, very quick in a way. Like, you didn't even have Jack there to bounce ideas off initially.
Well, no, he was the first 12 months. He was in and out of hospital all the time, and a lot of time, most of the time he was in there. So and he'd come over and help me out just by telling me what to do. But when you look back and you think you're so young and how it could happen, but it did.
It would have been very emotional time, but you had great family support as well, and I know that your whole family would be there the whole time helping you out and keeping you grounded too. Another Marie, she well and truly kept you grounded, made sure you were enjoying yourself, but also knew where you were.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Like, it's the people you get around you. I got no doubt. Like, I've got Marie with me, and without her, I'm not sure. We had a lot of downs, plenty of ups, but a lot of downs, and she was with me while things were pretty tough. Yep. So and she's always been there for me. So and to throw things off her as well. Just throw things work wise and what's happening. So, and then of course Matt and Lauren come along, and we're really close family, and it's good.
Started out, I remember when I started with you, you had a nice team of horses. I think we had about 8 to 12 horses.
Yep.
I reckon got up to 20, but whenever anyone asked what the rule of thumb was, we're only allowed to say 8 to 10, I think was always the rule, wasn't it?
Well, that was the rule because you didn't want to do... In Dad's eyes was that a good horse could be ready to come through the gate, so you can't afford not to... If they ask you, you got to make sure you got room for them. So I always stuck with that. And but I would say we got up to 20 to 25, and that was probably the most I've ever worked.
Yeah.
At the start there were a lot of, mostly pretty ordinary types, but we got through it, and we had a lot of good horses go to the stable.
Well, I was going to say that because I actually, as I said, did a little bit of homework.
Yep.
Dallas County.
Yep.
Absolute ripper in anyone's eyes, especially back in that era because it was tough back in that era as well. But that was about the same time as I started working. I reckon he came there just after that. So you may have been 18 when you got a horse like him come into your stable. So you progressed very, very quickly in the training ranks from the likes of, no disrespect to Mary's Dreams and those sorts of horses. Until you got these horses, Rajah's Reports, those sorts of horses that you'll be able to progress through. Yeah,
well, that all come back to Dad's eye because I remember Dallas County mainly. He was that fast out of the gate, but he couldn't get around Cobram, and Dad just brought him for 5,000. He says, well, he's that fast. We just got to get him around the corners, and obviously he was cross-firing and doing things wrong, and we worked it all out. And he became a Moonee Valley horse, and he was a real good horse.
Yeah, he was, and he was very fast. Used to wear those special Paston boots.
That's right. Yeah, he used to touch all the time.
Yeah, one first up at Naya too. I did go back and look at that, and went from there. You keep saying about Dad. Did you bounce ideas off other people? You said there before about Gavin. Did you get advice from like the training point of view?
Oh, in Echuca when I was young, Russell Thompson was really good. Yep. I could go through a heap of guys, but and Tom, I spent a lot of time with Russell and Pauline. They were great to me. They treated me like their son, really. To be fair, anything I needed, he always helped me. He was my driver too. Yeah. And when I didn't have a license, and he had to drive the car and drive the horses. And I could go through a heap and probably miss a heap, but he just came to mind straight away because he was the first one who rang me after being inducted.
He would have been stoked for you too.
He was. He's wrapped.
The driving and the training, it's so different then to now to get a go in. You're a young kid in Echuca, but like you go and look at the race results. Like we didn't race in the city every Saturday night or every weekend. Like they could have been anywhere. How hard was it for you to get a start and get a go on?
Well, that was where you had to make sure you were training horses. I felt like a lot of times, like when things weren't going right on the driving side of it and the track, and people seem to forget who you are. And that's one thing that these young drivers coming through now, they've got to realise that there's going to be a point where they're going to be forgotten for a couple of months. You've got to make sure they've got horses to keep their name rolling, which that was a really vital point, which I always banked on, was made sure, obviously just training the horses, you had to have the numbers and had to keep going around.
You didn't rest on your laurels either, did you? You didn't, you got Dallas County, but you were sort of looking for that next horse, and Rajah was one of those horses. I remember he was about 3-4 months after him. Like you kept chasing that horse. Yeah,
absolutely. We had to keep getting better, and we had to get Moonee Valley horses, and as it turned out, when we lived in Echuca, we're going that well that Echuca was too far away, so that's how come we moved to Melton.
Yeah, you made quite a few trips there. You won a couple of size stakes finals, I think. Back then from Echuca.
Heap of good race, heap Australian Golds. Dad loved going to the yearling sales and buying horses, and we got them going, and never paid good money for them, but again, it was his eye, and so I sort of took after it.
If you spoke to Mum, though, he should have been banned from the sales. Actually, sometimes you were going to ban him from the sales. But he generally worked it out, didn't he?
Well, he did. I remember one year he went to New Zealand and he brought 6 yearling trotters. I said, why would you do that? And then he said, well, one of them can be good. They're all cheap. And as it turned out, one did and paid for the rest. Yeah.
That was Jack's
That's
theory,
why he worked it out. Yeah.
He did quite a funny... Dad was a sort of polarising person. Some people some people didn't like, some people loved him. I always loved him. I think he always, I think if you did a good turn by him, Jack would always speak very highly of you. But like, you speak so glowingly of him.
Oh, absolutely. Like, he was the backbone. He was the one. And he's taught me basically all I know. I've trained horses and driven horses all my life, but I haven't gone to a stable. I was fortunate enough when Noel Alexander and Jane were really flying. I used to go down there and do track work for him and get to know what good horses were, and you soon worked it out. And when you're driving good horses and you go home and work your horses, you think, well, they're going to keep up, so you've got to get better ones.
And keep them improving.
Absolutely,
Do you remember your first winner?
Yeah, it was Tarleton Kid in Mildura.
Yep.
Yeah. It was my third drive. He was the second race meeting, but Hayden Hogan trained him, and I was 16.
I'm wondering, it's about would have probably been a 4.5, nearly 5 hour drive too to Mildura.
Mildura, I did Mildura every year when I was a kid. Yeah, absolutely. It was 4 or 5 hours, and sometimes we were there to the last, and I'd get home and again go straight to work. Sometimes instead of sleeping 2 hours, we used to work and then go to bed. That was just easier.
I can actually put my hand up to that, because I know we did that quite a few times. First good horse you drove? It's hard to say, getting back to good horses like Mother Courage and Nola Rama were great horses, and I drove Golden Rain, and I drove Sinbad Bay for when Stephen Dove had him, and then in Tailor Made Lombo. I've driven a lot of great horses, Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't realise that.
No,
it was actually interesting looking at that. I forgot the number off the top of my head. I know you've driven, it's funny, it's going to sound, 22 listed winners.
Yes.
They might be the Australian Pacing Golds, I would say, maybe.
Probably, yeah. We had a few Australian Gold winners.
Because there was $1.2 million in prize money, and that's why I was like, well, they're serious listed races. But about 29, I think, Group 1 wins? Yeah,
I've driven... Yeah, I'm not sure actually how many Group 1s.
You're not big on stats, are you?
Not a lot, no. I'm after my next winner.
Collingwood next year. Maybe. Right, so you said about shoeing. I know you and I, we even had a crack at teeth, which is ironic considering where I've ended up. But you weren't scared to try anything with your training, and that, do you reckon that's what's held you in good stead as far as being adaptable in your career?
Oh, I would like to think so. I'm a big believer in tomorrow's a new day, and it's going to be different. So the horse, whatever the horse is, it might be real good the next day, might not be. You got to work out the happy balance for him. So I'd like to think so.
Yeah, and your work ethic, as I said back then, because it was nothing to be shoeing horses at 10 o'clock at night. I think the one thing the stable had to have was good lights, because of early mornings or late nights, and just trying to get the work done.
Well, pretty much, I used to get up early and I'd sleep during the day at lunchtime, and then go again at night. That's how I had to operate.
You slept between, I think it was 12 and 1, wasn't it?
You can't get me now. Even now, you can't get me from like 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
You used to watch Days of Our Lives. There was a time where you watched Days of Our Lives, and there was nothing else mattered. We had to have lunch and then go and watch Days of Our Lives. That does not happen now.
No, I go straight to bed.
Bo and Hope are out of the equation, are they?
Yeah, they are.
They go from there. I could talk a lot. What's your best win? What would you say? I'll give you 2 seconds to think about it. But what's been your greatest achievement, if you like?
I'm not sure. Like, every winner's a good winner, and it's the people around you when you win. Like, one of Breeders' Crown here, when you're for Andrew Stewart, and he's a good mate from New Zealand, and Ed Carpenter was sort of for Gareth Dixon. They were really good mates, and they'd come in, we'd work them, we'd get them ready. Little things like that, and you come back and you appreciate, because they appreciate that what you've done for them. So I think it's hard to say what my best win is, but it's just all the people around you.
Sort of a measure of you, because you're not about the up in lights, and you weren't even that keen on this as an idea, but I think you understand that you need some acknowledgement of what you've been able to achieve.
Well, again, when you look back and what you've actually done, you think, well, you'd like to think that the young drivers coming through will, pay a bit of attention and work out that you're not just a mug.
Who enjoys life. Like, I think that's the other part that you do, and you always made sure you did that.
Oh, look, I was a big believer in work hard and play hard.
Yeah.
But now I've got older, I probably don't play that hard, really, to be fair. I'm pretty quiet now. But during the times, and as I said, and Dad sort of encouraged me to do that. You know, you had to get out and have a balance. So and that's it's worked out wonders.
You moved here to Melton, away from Echuca where you'd grown up all your life. Was that tough?
It was tough. I got good mates. I still go back to Echuca all the time. Got a lot of good mates there, but it was just the way it was. I was in the car way too much, and I rode a few cars off, and I crashed, hit a few kangaroos and whatnot. But I just had to get to Melton to be closer, because I was just Moonee Valley at the time was 2 or 3 times a week, Geelong, and I was just going back and forth. So it was just for work. What I had to do, I went home one night to Marie and just said, I can't keep doing this. We've got to do it, make it easier for us. And
the way the industry's gone, it's been a masterstroke.
Well, it has, you know. And then, you know, like I used to sleep every Sunday. I was that tired after the week, and when we moved to Melton, and on a Sunday I was ready to do something. Like, I wasn't as tired as I was, so it obviously worked.
Yeah, and kept you in good stead.
Yep.
You enjoy the way the industry's going, like you said there before about Kyabram, and like I said, I was sort of thinking there's a lot of stories I could say about you, and we won't say about them on the but Kyabram, like back in the day when you were driving, I mean, they're as good as races back then. Like, I remember the standing starts, and you'd line up against Barry Williams, Johnny Ryan, Jimmy Shishka, all these guys. Like, you learnt how to stand a horse up. Like people say about stands and how come we can't have stands, and I'm like, got to go back to Kyabram trials back in the day to have stands again. But like, it was a hard school back then, wasn't it? Like, you learnt the ropes pretty hard. Yeah,
absolutely. Like, you know, well, Chris Alford and I, we've grown up together, and we took on the best basically straight away. Yep. You know, like we got through our junior drivers claims pretty quick, and they were a great bunch of trainers and drivers. You know, as I said, and going back all them ones just in Kyabram, and they weren't even Moonee Valley, but they were really, really tough guys. They wouldn't give you an inch, so
they wouldn't give you an inch at a trial, would they?
No, you had to work it out yourself. So you had to be pretty tough.
Jimmy just showed all his punting mates up. They'd be betting on the trials sometimes.
Jimmy is funny.
But did that, you reckon, hold you in good stead for now?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, look, you know, like, again, I hate getting beat, and why I hate getting beat, well, I'm still competitive, you know, it's a thing where you just like, it's tough. Things get pretty tough, but you got to be at it. Yeah,
and continue to go. Your numbers are still good. You're still at that same sort of percentage. You don't get as many drives now.
No,
but you're driving the similar sort of that everywhere. I think from about 12% through to about 19-20% every year.
Yeah, I like to be consistent. You know, like when my goal, not that I have many goals really, to be fair, but in my days going through, I always want to drive 100 winners a year, knowing that if I drove 100, surely there's a good one there somewhere. You know, and I did that for 20 years, and I'm still up and about there, but not quite, because I don't get the good drives, but you just got to make your opportunities work.
But you get called up a lot.
Absolutely, yeah, still, I'm still busy enough, you know, like we were just averaging around 8 to 10 horses here, but I'm still busy enough. I get around a bit. Yeah,
and continue the driving. Is there an itch you want to scratch? Something that you haven't achieved in your career that you'd like to?
Oh, not really, to be fair. I'm just more happy just to get the next winner for whoever it is. You know, like I'm not really big on you know, setting huge goals now, you know, but as long as my family's happy and I'm happy, and away we go.
Yeah, Johnny, a lot of fun. As I said, I could possibly talk about a lot of things. There was a lot of things. It was quite good reminiscing a bit last night. I was looking at some of the results, and then I was like, well, I better not say that one. We won't bring up my 18th birthday, and anyone wondering, I didn't drink at the time, so we don't have to worry about that one too much. But there was a lot of fun and that. But I think well done. I think well and truly deserve it. Not necessarily for what you have or haven't achieved, if it likes, but just the way you represent our sport. I think it's awesome. You don't go about with airs and graces, decorated driver. You have actually trained in your own right. I didn't realise that. I actually had a little, only for a brief time, but I mean, between Marie and Jack, you've always...
Yeah, I trained for a while after Dad for about 12 months, and then my tax man didn't think that was a great idea, and then Marie's here 24/7 anyway. So, and then it was actually Dad. He said, "Oh, maybe she should just put him in Marie's because she's here and she does it all anyway." Yeah. Like, and I was never home, so it was all up to Marie. So that's how it worked out. And it's been great. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm more than happy to the way it is.
Yeah, she's actually over there waiting for me to go into horse's teeth in a minute. But she was happy. She was more than happy for this. Your colours. Anyone wonder about your colours? Dad was a very proud doggies man.
Yep.
His colours were in the traditional bulldog, and you've kept that. Like, you are not a proud bulldog man at all.
No, but I'm happy. I'm happy for the doggies, and that they were Dad's colours, and way we went, and then we just changed them from Marie. But we like the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, and keep it that way. Glad it's not the black and white or anything along those lines. Mate, thank you. There's probably about a dozen things I've forgotten, but I'm actually glad I was able to get you for 5 minutes, and really appreciate it. I've known you for a bloody long time, so we both feel old for that part, but really appreciate it. I think it's awesome for what you've been able to achieve, the recognition that you've got, so congratulations.
Cheers.
Thanks, man.